Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to my YouTube channel. Today, Right Cinemas has asked to speak a little bit about one of my Hong Kong movies called Above the Law. Now, that was the original title, but it was also called Righting Wrongs. So it's either the same, Righting Wrongs or Above the Law. And a lot of people confuse it with Steven Seagal's movie, Above the Law, but it's a total different one. Well, Righting Wrongs was my second Hong Kong movie to do, my third Hong Kong movie to do. First was Yes, Madam, and then Shanghai Express, and then Righting Wrongs. At this time, I was supposed to play the bad guy in Jackie Chan's film, Armor of God. And I was so excited because Jackie Chan has always been my role model, my hero. When I was younger and I was studying Kung Fu, I would go and watch all the movies in the Chinatown cinemas, and I would go home and practice movies like him. So now here I am, I'm finally getting to work with my idol. Well, at that time, he had that accident. You remember he fell from a tree and had to have brain surgery, and then they stopped that film. So Golden Harvest said, okay, well, we're going to put you in another movie called Righting Wrongs with Yuen Biao. So I go to shoot this movie, and right before I got to come home for a little bit of time, and I had a martial arts school in Northern California, and I was doing kicks, and I was doing it really hard because I wanted to be in really good shape. I wanted to look good. I was doing jumping hook kicks. Well, I jumped, and I landed, and my knee went out. I couldn't walk. It was swollen. I was like, oh, my God, what am I going to do? So I went to a doctor. He goes, yeah, you blew out your anterior cruciate ligament. I can't get it fixed. I'm off to Hong Kong in another 5 days to go shoot Righting Wrongs. So I go there, and I can't even walk on my right leg. Now, I'm a right leg kicker. Mostly all my kicks are on my right side. For that movie, I told them, I said I hurt my right leg. I had to do kicks with my left leg. So if you look, that whole movie is on my left side. And I remember there's a scene where I have to do an aerial where Yuen Biao like flips me over. Oh, it was so awkward because it wasn't my right side. And I thought, oh, this movie is going to look terrible. It's going to look horrible. But when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, good. All right. My left leg looked just as good as my right, but it didn't feel it at that time. I love that movie. I loved working with Yuen Biao. Yuen Biao, I have to say, out of anybody I've ever fought with, he is my favorite. We just seemed like our timing was the same. You know, the movements went really, really smooth. And I remember we were shooting the one scene, I think it was in like a house, right? And if you look at this to me is one of the most awesome stunts I've ever seen. Without any wires, without any CGI. He literally comes in and he does a flip and he lands on a rocking chair on the two handles, and it's rocking, and he's looking at me. It took him a lot to do it. I think he tried it about 20 times, you know, because he'd land and then he'd fall off, or he'd land, even just trying to do it. And then he stuck it. And I was just in awe of him. I was like, oh, this guy's amazing, amazing. So like, check that out in the scene. And then another thing, when I was here back home in America, Yuen Kui said to me, you know, I need a girl that can fight with you that does the steel whip. And I said, oh, okay. I said, well, I know Karen Shepard. She does the whip. So they contacted her, and she was going to come out to do the film. Well, she had a couple issues in the beginning. She was like, okay, one, I can't get killed by Cynthia because that wouldn't be good for my career. And she was supposed to kill a young boy in the movie because her character was really bad. She goes, I can't do that either. So I'm like, you know, oh, who cares? You're good or bad. You're doing a movie, a great movie. You do your part. You do whatever. So anyway, Yuen Kui knows this, right? And we get to the scene where I'm supposed to kill her. And if you know, in the movie, I hit her with a stick and she goes off the parking lot to her death. And when we were shooting that, Yuen Kui said, okay, Karen, now on this scene, you're going to run away. Like, so she runs from me so I don't kill her. And then when she went home, the stunt guy put her wig on and her clothes, and he was her, and I killed her. And then they did an insert, too, with the little boy where she slit his throat with a knife, right? The young kid, right? Which was made her really mean in it. And so I always wondered when she saw that, it's going to be totally different than what she expected. But I think, some of the scenes that Karen and I did, there's a scene where she's fighting me with the steel whip and I'm with the staff. And it was one of the most brilliant choreographed scenes I have ever seen. We were fighting on scaffolds, and that was hard. Her fighting me with the whip. I was like, oh man, because you can't control that and you get hit with it. And keep in mind, when you're doing Hong Kong films, you are going home every day bruised and in pain. I mean, that is just a given. But that scene was so phenomenal. One of the favorite moves I have is I was wired and they had me drop from a split on her and then up. I mean, some of the moves are great. Yun Bu, he got hurt during that film. There is a scene where he jumps off a balcony to the ground, and it's quite high. It's a couple stories up. And what they did is they picked all the grass off, and they put a mattress under the grass. So all he had was a little thin mattress to land on. So he's up there on the top, jumps off himself. He never used a stunt person. He did all his own stuff and landed, and you had to stick it. Phenomenal, but he hurt his back. So he was hurt for a little while from that stunt, just from the jar of doing it. But that was one of the most awesome stunts ever. Another thing about righting wrongs is this is very interesting. So Yun Kuei wanted to be creative. Okay, he goes, I want to make a different film. In the end, I want our heroes, Cynthia and Yun Bu, to die. So I have this big fight scene, and I get the chills thinking about it because the fight scene was so amazing. That someone puts a stake through my throat and pins me to a wall, and I die. Then he goes off and he's in a plane, and he falls out of the plane and lands, and he dies. So now the movie is showing. They have the midnight show, right? Now in Hong Kong, I've mentioned this before, that they will tell if the movie is a hit or if it's a miss, depending on the crowd's reaction. Well, when they saw us both get killed, they were booing. They were throwing things at the screen. They were like, no, we don't want her to die. We don't want her to die. I go back to America. Now I'm shooting China O'Brien for Golden Harvest, right? Because right from Righting Wrongs, I went to China O'Brien. And they're like, you have to come back. You have to come back to Hong Kong, and we have to reshoot that scene. And I'm like, but my hair is different. It grew a little bit longer, and I'm in the middle of China O'Brien. We can't really change it. They're like, oh, that's okay. It doesn't matter. So it comes back. We reshoot it. I don't know. Maybe we shot for about a week or two where I just get stabbed in the arm. I have a sling on my arm, and Yun Bu falls from the water, and I come in the boat and save him. And then everybody loved it. Everybody was so happy, and it became a big hit. So there's two versions out there. And if you're lucky to see them, one is where we die, and two is where we don't die. And that's the reason why they had two of those versions. And it was funny because I sent the picture to my mom, with the stake, like, and I'm all dead in my throat. She gives it to the Scranton Times, and they put it in the newspaper. Yeah, Cynthia Rothrock filming with the picture. I was like, Mom, what are you doing? It was really, of all pictures, you had to put that one picture down. But Righting Wrongs, I think it might have taken us about 5.5 months to shoot. You're so banged up and beat up, from doing these scenes, because in Hong Kong, they want you to hit hard. You can't make it look like it hit hard. You really have to hit hard. So it was like, I don't know. I loved it because that's me. I'm crazy. You could. I think that's why they kind of liked me, because I could take everything they were dishing at me and still come back and do it. And I'm trying to think of anything else on that one. No, I think that's about what I could say about it. But it's really, really, I think, my favorite action scenes that I have done. And you can pick anyone in Hong Kong because all the fighting is brilliant. But this one was so good. So check it out. Righting Wrongs, Above the Law. Cynthia's dead. Cynthia's alive. Okay, there's two different versions. And so again, what you want to ask me about films, telling you a little bit behind the scenes, a little bit that goes on the filming, just give me a message here on YouTube. So thank you. Stay safe, and We will talk soon.
Hi, this is Cynthia Rothrock. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel. And if you like the videos, please put a like on it and refer it to your friends.